Beyond every tattoo, there's a personal story, and we're here to tell it. Join us as Beyond the Tattoo will change the mainstream culture of body ink forever.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Tattoo. We're so excited you could join us. We're off to Annapolis, Maryland to meet Frankie Orange from Orange Tattoo Company and his amazing group of artists. They've done a ton of celebrity tattoos. And we're back to Orlando Stigma, where we're going to see Danny and the guys and a ton more surprises.
Thanks, Kelly. Welcome to Orange Tattoo Company in Annapolis, Maryland, and we're super excited to have Beyond the Tattoo here today.
My boy Joe here has just been doing unbelievable work on me for a long time, and he's continuing the Japanese theme. And we've got the wind hag underneath the Mon cat, and really excited about it.
So how many tattoos total do you have?
One.
One big one?
One big one. One big one. I've been waiting for a while to say that. Everything's all connected up. We've been working on this for a while, and it's really great.
So Mike is like one of those dream clients that you always want to have. He lets you have the utmost in artistic freedom and gives you pretty much unlimited skin. So, you know, he just lets you do your thing, comes in with a couple loose ideas and lets you interpret it your way. And it's always a pleasure to work with him, and it's actually going to be really sad when this entire bodysuit is done, because then we're not going to have anything to work on.
I knew at 12 years old that I was going to have them. I love them, and a huge attraction to them. They weren't big in my family, but for some reason they were all about me. And when my mom saw my interest in them, she pretty much threatened my life of like, if you come home with a tattoo before you're 18, I'm gonna kill you, you know? So I was like, okay. On my 18th birthday, you know where I was. I was at the tattoo shop. Got my first tattoo, which was on a Saturday, and the following Friday when I got my paycheck, got my second tattoo, and it was just off to the races. She was cool with it, you know. She was super supportive, and that just really became my thing. Had really no idea that I was going to actually have a career in it. At the time, you know, this is 1989. It was very, very intimidating, and anytime you went into a shop, even today, when people talk about, hey, can you teach me, could I do an apprenticeship, you instantly get shut down. So I was not even gonna cross that line. I just loved being there. I loved the people that worked there. I loved talking with the customers. I think just being there so much, they were just like, do you want to work here? You know, and I was like, doing what? You know, I'm still not pushing that, you know. And they're like, you know, maybe just help the customers out and we'll trade you tattoos for your time. You kidding? Like, I'm in. I'm already here, you know. So I did that for a while. So I'd work my day job and I'd go to the tattoo shop for the evening and just keep adding to my collection. And then one day they asked if I was ever interested in tattooing, and I was like, I thought you'd never ask. I learned a lot about what to do, and most importantly, I learned a lot about what not to do. You know, at this time in tattooing, it wasn't like it is today. Like today, it's very common for you to collect tattoos and, oh, I'm gonna get a tattoo from this person, and then I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna get a tattoo from this person. And when you go in the tattoo shop, they're so welcoming of like, oh, where'd you get that piece at? You know, who did that? Am I gonna get to do a tattoo next to that artist? You know, things like that. Back then, it was, if you get tattooed here, you can't get tattooed anywhere else. You know, like, and for some stupid reason, like, I even kind of fell for that, you know, like, well, here's my big break, you know, they're gonna teach me to tattoo, and so if I was to find someone else that I really liked their art, I may blow my opportunity. Well, obviously I was still meeting other people, you know, in the industry, people just like me, and were friends with them, but I had to keep that side of my life as a secret. It got real dark. The people became like super religious, and they were just super controlling. And anyone that knows me, you know, I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. And I don't drink, and I don't smoke, and I don't do drugs, and I don't have a problem with religions, but all I wanted to do was be a tattooer and get tattoos. They basically kind of forbidden me to visit a friend in the hospital that was seriously injured because he was affiliated with another shop. So I told them basically, I'm out, you know, beat it. I guess I won't be tattooing, you know, whatever. That's just crazy. I visited my friend in the hospital and came across the next guy that said, well, you can come apprentice here. And he was part of that newer scene of, hey, it's okay, you know, you can get this arm done by this guy and this arm done by this guy, and we love that. You know, anything you can bring to us and we can bring to you just makes us all better. So something that I thought ruined everything for me, I think was actually a blessing in disguise. Everything that's happened in my life has been being at the right place at the right time.
Welcome back to Stigma. We've got a lot going on. I don't know if you remember last time I was getting the Bulldog tattoo JB was taking care of. Now my son, he wants to get tattooed. He's just turned 18, so he's right over here getting the same tattoo.
Tattoos don't really get me nervous. I got my diabetic tattoo. It's like a medical alert, so I don't have to wear the bracelet. I got that when I was 16, I think. I have a lot of friends who ask me about, like, can you get me an appointment with your dad, and do you guys do this and that and that? And I'm just like, yeah, I can help you get a spot in, whatnot. Like, a lot of my friends have got tattoos here. I've got quite a few. I was diagnosed with diabetes about a year and a half ago, and as soon as I got diagnosed, they offered me a medical alert bracelet in case I got in a car accident or something, so people could know. And obviously my dad being a tattoo artist, I was like, instead of wearing a bracelet, I might as well just get the tattoo of it, and that's why I got it on my forearm, so it was like easily visible for emergency responders or whatever the case was, just so it was a safety thing. It's a really common thing now. I have a few diabetic friends who have diabetic alert bracelets or tattoos as well, and so I guess it's a common thing for people to look for now. And my dad's tattooed a couple of paramedics and stuff, and I've asked them, and they said that they always have to pull your sleeve up to your forearm, so can't really miss it.
My name is Mike Macri. I'm a police officer here in Annapolis. I've been doing that for 10 years. I enjoy my work very much. Police work is the best thing I've ever chosen to do with my life. It's very rewarding, but it's extremely difficult at times. It brings you from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. You could go 1 second from bringing a lost child home to his mother and getting that hug from mom, which is the greatest thing, and then having to go give a death notification to someone else's family, and that could be all within a few hours or one shift that you're working. I have a lot of expensive hobbies. Tattoos are one of them, and I found a shop that I trust and have became friends with, in Orange Tattoo. I guess you could kind of say I'm almost like one of the shop's sluts, because more than one artist has had their hands on me. On 9/11, I was working in Long Island City, Queens at a graphic printing company. I was a technician, and I was listening to Howard Stern, and they had mentioned that an airplane had just struck the World Trade Center. I said it was a small plane. Out the window of my building, you had a clear view across the river of the World Trade Center. And I was with a buddy of mine, Matt, in his office, looking out the window, watching all this unfold, and I saw the amount of smoke. And I said, that's not a small plane. I said, that's a big plane. And then not long after that, I watched the second plane go into the towers. One of my best friends is a New York City police officer down in the 1st Precinct, which is the World Trade Center. I knew his schedule because we would always go out drinking after work. He would work day work. I'd hop on the train, go in, meet him. We'd go out, have a few drinks. And I knew he was working that day. So when the towers fell, I pretty much got sick because I knew my friend was there. And not knowing if he was safe or not wasn't a good feeling, knowing that you probably just lost one of your best friends. And turns out I did lose a friend that day. My friend Mark, who was a childhood friend, actually turned around. He had gotten off of work. He was a transit cop. He turned around because he had gotten off that morning and heard what was going on, returned to work to help out, and never made it home. That experience and those feelings are what inspired me to become a police officer. I knew I could do something bigger and better with my life, and just by nature, I like to help people.
Like 99, early 2000, I was asked to tattoo the boy band NSYNC, and I was kind of like, what's up with these guys? Like, I'm not the best guy in this shop, but whatever, cool, It was kind of the start of meeting musicians and things like that, and them taking the tattooer on the road. And that's such a common thing now. Like, it's nothing, especially with all these great TV shows, to be like, oh, I love that artist. I'm gonna call the shop and, we're going on tour to Japan and we're just gonna bring that artist with us. This was all prior to that. I'm still kind of on the DL, but I'm okay with that because I like just going home and knowing that, oh, I did that tattoo, I did that tattoo, I did that tattoo, and I can, watch a TV show and be like, oh man, I have that person's number on my phone. That's so weird. Like, that's still really cool to me. And I don't take those opportunities for granted. Having those opportunities to go on the road and tattoo actually led me to having a second career in the music industry, which led to more tattooing in the music industry. What started with NSYNC ended with Metallica, so I have been so fortunate to tattoo in all genres of music, and kind of at that time, besides Michael Jackson, let's face it, Justin Timberlake is kind of the king of pop. And I also got to, go to the other end of the spectrum and tattoo James Hetfield, who, is definitely one of the kings of metal. I find that with popular people, they depend on each other. It's like, oh, well, Shaq buys his Cadillacs there, so I think that's where I became so fortunate. I don't think that I was lighting the world on fire with my tattoos. It was the fact that, oh, well, he said that's where he gets his tattoos and he loves it.
So there's a very competitive nature in the tattoo industry between what essentially is like the less well-known shops. So when you have like these street shops, they seem to be very competitive and kind of a little malicious towards each other, honestly. But from my experience with the better known shops, with the bigger name artists, it's not like that. There's more camaraderie. You know, they promote each other, they go to each other's shops, there just seems to be like this more combined effort to bring the industry forward. And it's just, which is good. That's the way forward. That's the way it should be. Which that's what opens the door to doing the guest spots. You can't really do that in a shop that really just sees you as complete competition. So I'm really looking forward to learning more about Orange Tattoo, meeting those guys over there, and then them to learn more about us as well. You know, so that's the same thing. Camaraderie, bring the industry forward.
Here at Stigma, we teach pole dance classes. It's an amazing workout. I'm a mum of 4, and if I can do it, you can too. Okay, so we're going to walk a little bit, not too much, because you want to spin too fast. You're going to wrap your leg around, cross your feet, and then you're going to lay back. That's it. Lower that hand, that's it, and keep your butt up. There we go, perfect. Yay!
I've been a professional musician for about 15 years or so now. I decided to kind of take a break from that to pursue tattooing. It's been a passion of mine. Art in general has been a passion, art and music. And I did it for a while, and I just thought maybe, you know, it's time to try something new. And I always got tattooed here from Danny, and we got to talking one day, and he said there was an apprenticeship open, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and I love it. Every minute of it, I love being here.
Be you, man. You're being accountant Joe. Loosen it up, man. Be you. Be that funny son of a bitch I've been cut up on everybody all day long. You got this, man. You got this. Let's go. Let's go. Who wants Joe to be Joe?
All right, taking off my pants. I love coming to work every day here. It's amazing. I get to work with my best friends. I get to have a good time doing it. We just give each other shit all day long. It's an absolute family atmosphere. There's nothing you won't do for your friends here. You know they'll do everything for you as well. And every day, it's something new. There's a new adventure. Somebody's up to something, or you know, you get clients who really kind of make things mean something. You know, whether it's the tattoo or the friendship that's forged, and the ability to do it and trust that everybody else here is going to be giving their full potential, continue learning every day, and really just push the boundaries of what they do. It's an amazing thing.
Everybody's got a different reason for getting a tattoo, and I like to be part of the process. It's neat to be able to not only apply it, but to come up with your own designs and do things that are cool for people that want to either mark a chapter in their life or for the beginning and end of something that's important to them, something that symbolizes something that's important to them. It's neat. It's fun to do. It lasts forever.
Yeah, been here since the beginning. Today was on a really good friend of mine, one of my oldest friends from back home in Flint, Michigan, where I grew up. And the piece itself is it's a traditional American traditional based design, but I think what it represents for him is him and his wife love to travel, and it's a compass with a skeleton key and some decorative flowers around it, and I'm pretty sure he was saying it just represents always searching for your paradise. The key to your paradise. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite shop I've been at so far. It's the third shop I've worked, and I'm comfortable here. I actually took a hiatus from tattooing for a little while just to kind of clear my head, and coming back here definitely revived everything and set me straight. Sometimes you just get in a rut, you know, like, and you kind of lose your motivation, and this is one of those jobs that is very important that your heart's into it, and if it's not, there's no reason for you to be in it. So I kind of got to a point where I didn't know whether it was customers or people I was working with or whatever, and you know, it just turned out I just needed a change of scenery. You know, work with some new tattooers, watch some new people work, it kind of, puts the fire back in you.
Work the front desk here at Orange. I've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now. My story is kind of similar to Frankie's, as I would assume it is for most people getting involved in the tattoo industry. Started getting tattooed here, became good friends with everyone who worked here, and eventually a job offer came around the corner. It was supposed to be just kind of like a part-time deal while Frankie was on tour. Wound up being a full-time thing. Now I'm here, 4 days a week, shop manager almost. Can't really complain.
No, I'm serious. I don't joke around about my sexy spot.
This one here, just kind of one of those after hours, fun time in the shop. Like I said, you get to know everyone, artists, clients. The cop you actually interviewed earlier did which side? He did this side right here. And then another good friend of ours, Seth, who is a Harley technician, did the other side. Said fart loud, fart proud.
I really love where the industry has gone and what it's become. And I think a big part of it is the athletes. You watch an NBA game and LeBron James, the best player in the NBA, is covered in tattoos and everyone loves him. Of course, if you're a Cavs fan, everyone loves him and he's super tattooed. And I never really thought we would see that day come. That's amazing in itself. The only thing about today that me personally, and I'm only speaking for myself, that I'm not a fan of is the competition side of tattooing. Like, yeah, it's easy to find the best in the world, and you can spend a fortune doing it. And if that's what you're into, that's great. But for me, sometimes I just want to get a tattoo from a certain person because I really dig that person. And every time I look at that tattoo, I think about that time I got the tattoo, our conversation. I have tattoos even from people that aren't even real tattooers, and I love those tattoos. I may love it, and the next guy may hate it. And I think that's okay, and I don't see how you can judge a painting, and I don't see how you can judge a tattoo. And for the people that are allowing their tattoos to be judged, and for the people judging the tattoos, I think that's a really crazy line to cross, because that person has to go home and live with that tattoo. That's my only issue with some of how the industry is today. We wanted to somehow give back to the community, but because we're all parents and things like that, we wanted to do something with the youth. My daughter and I enjoy outside of our normal world, and we do love motocross. So I ended up putting together, getting together with some sponsors, and I figured well, if I gather a bunch of sponsors, I could create a youth motocross team and just make it all academically driven. And for anyone that don't know, motocross is a very expensive sport for families. I gathered all these sponsorships, from Answer to Garnet to Pro Taper to, we have a local dealership here called Ellicott City Motorsports, Limited Decal, which is phenomenal. And I told them my story, I told them what I wanted to do, and I basically said, look, I'm gonna check these kids' report cards, and as long as their report cards are good, they can ride for the team and they can reap the benefits. If their report cards aren't good, they lose the benefits. I don't really care how they finish. They can come in last place every week for all I care. They just need to be good students and good human beings. And I think the great thing behind it, which is the results that none of us expected, was because the riders have no pressure on how to finish, just have fun and do good in school, they actually have been really good competitive riders and have finished well every year because there's no pressure on them. It's not like you have to win to earn something. You know, it's like, I realize that's the goal in life. I'm not one of those parents that everybody should get a participation trophy, because I don't totally agree with that. But in this scenario, I think there's more to it than winning the race. It's the race of life of becoming a good person. I couldn't imagine ever seeing myself without tattoos. I'm glad I took the path I took.
I want to say a big thank you to everybody with Beyond the Tattoo. We're so grateful you came in today. We're going to send this one back to Kelly and Danny at Stigma. Big shout out to Crystal Head Vodka. You guys rock. Thank you.
The reason we love Crystal Head Vodka is because it is amazingly pure. It's filtered through crystals, and the bottles are so amazing, everybody wants one. Thank you for joining us, guys. This was such a fun episode. Find us on social media at Beyond the Tattoo.